She woke up early in the morning, her entire body aching, her burnt hand throbbing with every heartbeat. Still, she forced herself up, dragging her weak limbs to the kitchen to prepare his breakfast. But her injured hand slowed her down. Every moment was painful, and the knife slipped twice because her fingers couldn't grip up properly. She could already hear his footsteps coming down the stairs, heavy, impatient, dangerous. He walked straight towards her. "What's in the breakfast?" She froze. Her breath hished. Morning punishments were always the worst. Her body hadn't even recovered from the last night torture. I, Cookie, I'm sorry I got late. Sorry, please forgive me." Her voice cracked, trembling like a child begging not to be hit. "Sorry?" He grabbed her face in an instant, his nails digging deep into her cheeks, forcing her to look into his cold, bloodshot eyes. "Because of you, I have to leave on an empty stomach. I have an important meeting today, and if I lose this deal, I will show you hell, a real one." Her heart dropped before she could even breathe. He spoke again. "Fine, make me a hangover drink." She stood frozen, panic shooting through her chest. He saw her still standing. "Don't stand here like a statue. Go, make me the damn drink," he roared, the kitchen shaking with his voice. "L- lemon isn't available." The second the word left her mouth, his expression darkened. He didn't think. He didn't pause. He slapped her so hard that her head cracked against the sharp corner of the counter. Pain exploded. Warm blood slipped down her forehead. The corner of her lip started to bleed. Her vision blurred. "Can't even look after the damn house, bloody useless shit." She stayed on the floor, breath shaking, tears burning behind her eyes. But none of them fell. Her vision blurred for a moment as she steadied herself, one palm gripping the edge of the counter while warm blood trickled down her temple. She swallowed her pain. She always did, because showing it only made things worse. She moved quickly, almost tripping on her own feet as she rushed to prepare his hangover drink. Her fingers trembled violently while she squeezed the half-dried lemons she managed to find behind the jars. Every breath she took came heavy, shaky, choked. She placed the drink in front of him with both hands shaking uncontrollably. Cookie, it's here." He didn't even look at her, not once. "Took you long enough, huh?" His voice was cold, icy. He picked the glass, gulped half of it, then paused, turning back towards her with narrowed eyes. "Don't stand here in front of me when I'm drinking. Move." He pushed her aside with his shoulder, and she hit the wall behind her, wincing quietly. She lowered her head, pressing her palm to her throbbing skull where blood had dried into a sticky patch. Her jaw ached from the slap, her lips stung. Her entire body screamed for rest, warmth, safety, none of which she had. When he finally grabbed his coat and walked towards the door, she flinched, expecting another hit, but they simply scoffed. "If the house isn't spotless when I'm back, you already know the consequences." He slammed the door shut. The moment he left, she slid down the floor, hugging her knees, her breathing breaking into sobs she had been holding since dawn. Her head pounded with dull, deep ache. Her stomach twisted painfully, not from hunger, but from the strange queasiness that has been hitting her every morning from the past week. Her chest felt heavy, her body exhausted. Her lower back ached constantly, and she felt dizzy every time she stood up too fast. She didn't understand what was happening. She just pressed a hand over her stomach, feeling a strange warmth there. Something wasn't right. Or maybe something was. She didn't know yet. But the nausea, the fatigue, the sudden sensitivity to smells, the light cramping, all whispered something she was too terrified to even imagine. And the worst, she had no idea how Jungkook would react. Her hands were trembling so badly that the small pregnancy kit almost slipped from her fingers. She had locked herself inside the bathroom, the only place in the whole house where she could breathe for a moment without fear. She sat on the closed toilet lid, her heart pounding so loud she felt it in her throat. Her head still throbbed from the morning heat, and red blood pulled at the skin near her hairline whenever she moved. Please. Her voice cracked, even though she wasn't speaking to anyone. She took the test, set it down, and then waited, with her palms pressed together, shaking, begging, praying, not even sure what she wanted the result to be. Seconds felt like hours. Her breath hitched when she finally leaned forward, her vision stinging with tears. 2 lines, clear, dark, undeniable. No, no, no. Her voice broke as her hand flew to her mouth. She wasn't ready for this. Not like this. Not in a house where every step, every word, every breath could get hit. Not with a man whose anger lived in his fists. She cried as she pressed the test to her chest, sliding down the floor. My baby. Her whisper was small, fragile, a mix of fear and a tiny spark of love she couldn't ignore. She didn't know how long she sat there until she suddenly heard a car screeching outside. At the same moment, across the city, Jungkook slammed his fist against the dashboard. His jaw clenched so hard a vein bulged along his neck. The meeting had gone horribly wrong. His presentation had been incomplete. His patience was thin, and his headache was pounding after drinking on an empty stomach. He lost the deal, an important one. He could hear his boss word echoing in his skull. We expected professionalism, Jungkook. This was disappointing. Humiliation burned hotter than alcohol still in his system. He knew exactly where that fire would go once he reached home. That useless woman. His fingers tightened around the steering wheel. He blamed her for being late, for making him angry, for the bad morning that spiraled his entire day. By the time he reached the house, his anger was no longer anger. It was a storm. He stepped out of the car, slamming the door hard. Inside the bathroom, she flinched. Her fingers closed tight around the pregnancy test. Please, please not now. Her heart raced violently as she heard his heavy footsteps approaching the house. And she realized she wasn't alone anymore. Not inside her, and now she had one more to protect than just herself. Ryan opened the bathroom door quietly, hiding her shaking hand behind her back. The test lay abandoned near the sink. The 2 lines are still staring at her from inside. She stepped out. Her breath stopped. Jungkook was right there, standing at the top of the staircase. Shoulders tense, jaw clenched, eyes burning with a rage she had seen too many times. The hallway felt too small for both of them. Her heart climbed into her throat. Where were you? Each word dropped like a stone. She stepped back instinctively, her spine brushing the cold wall. I was just cleaning. Her voice barely came out. He took one slow, lethal step towards her. She could smell the faint bitterness of alcohol still lingering on him. His tie was loosened, hair messy. Signs of failure he would never admit, but always punish someone for us. Clean? You think this house is clean? His voice was calm, which scared her more than his shouting. Her fingers curled into the fabric of her nightshirt to stop them from trembling. Her stomach twisted painfully, fears mixing with the early waves of nausea she had been ignoring all the morning. She lowered her eyes. Looking into his was too dangerous, but he grabbed her chin harshly, forcing her to meet his gaze. Look at me when I'm talking. She whimpered, sound she hated making. His thumb pressed into the fresh bruise on her cheek. She flinched, tears filling her eyes instantly. You ruined my morning, and now the entire day. Do you have any idea what I lost because of you? Each word stabbed her with guilt, even though none of it was her fault. I'm, I'm sorry, Cookie. I didn't mean to. Her voice cracked. Something flickered in her eyes. When she said Cookie, a softness, but it disappeared in an instant. He pushed her back. Her foot slipped on the stair edge. She stumbled, clutching the railing with her hand. Don't try to act sweet now. Save it. They steadied herself, breathing shakily. Her burnt hand throbbed violently, and her head still stung from earlier. Her body was exhausted. Her eyes were swollen. Her heartbeat was too fast, and deep in her abdomen a twisting ache, the sign of her body reacting to everything at once. Nausea rose in her throat, sharp and sudden. Cookie, I'm not feeling well. Of course you aren't. Useless people never are. Her vision blurred for a second. The stress, the fear, the shock of the positive test, it was all too much. She clutched the railing harder, trying to stay upright as a wave of dizziness washed over her. Another early pregnancy symptom, but she didn't dare show it. Jungkook stared at her like she was an inconvenience standing in his way. She stepped aside, trying to make herself small, invisible, hoping he would just walk past her and go to the bedroom. But he didn't. Jungkook stopped towards her, his hand tightening around the railing, his shoulders writhing and falling with silent, dangerous breaths. Then, slowly, he turned his head towards her. She froze. He reached for the buckle of his vest, pulled the leather belt free with a sharp, slicing sound that echoed in the hallway. Her stomach dropped. Her breath hitched. Her knees almost buckled. The belt hung from his hand, heavy, threatening, familiar. So this is what you were doing while I was losing everything out there? His voice was calm, too calm. That was always worse than shouting. Wang shook her head quickly, tears slipping before she could stop them. Cookie, please, I wasn't. I didn't. Her voice trembled. He stepped towards her, slow, controlled, unforgiving. You think you can ruin my morning, my deal, and just stand here crying? She backed away until her spine hit the wall. Her injured hand instinctively moved to shield herself, but the moment sent a sharp sting up her arm. She winced, chest heaving. Jungkook's eyes fell on her hesitation and darkened further. Move your hand. She didn't. She couldn't. He gripped her wrist, her good one, and slammed it against the wall beside her head. The belt dangled at his side, like a cruel reminder of what was coming. Her ear blurred everything. Her pulse hammered in her ear. Cookie, please, I'm trying. I swear I'm trying. He leaned closer, his breath brushing her cheek. Try harder. Her whole body shook as he lifted the belt, not needing to strike yet. The threat alone enough to make her crumble. He didn't raise it immediately. No, he let the moment stretch, dragging out her fear, watching her fold into herself. Maybe this will teach you to listen, to be useful for once. Her chest tightened painfully. A wave of dizziness hit her again, the nausea, stronger this time, churning, twisting deep inside her. Her other hand instinctively moved to her stomach, the smallest unconscious gesture of protection. He noticed, his eyes narrowed. What are you hiding there? Wang shook her head, fast, panicked. Nothing. I don't feel well. But before she could finish, the belt snapped sharply against her skin. The sound cut through her words. She flinched violently, screamed, tears spilling harder. And behind all the terror, all the pain, another feeling pulsed faintly beneath her ribs, the fragile life inside her, reacting to every shock, every jump, every scream she swallowed. To be continued. Stay tuned.